Welcome back to Good Day Stateline. Over 15 million people watched the Oscars Sunday night and saw Will Smith slap Chris Rock after Chris made a joke at Will's wife Jada's expense. Millions more, maybe billions, I don't know the stats. Saw the clip online, is still talking about it tonight. We of course have Tim Mahoney here. Perfect timing because there's a lot of legal elements to this, or could be.
The slap talked about around the world.
Yeah.
So let's first talk about what is a battery, okay? A battery is defined as a harmful or offensive touching with intent to cause some sort of harmful or offensive touching, okay? So it doesn't have to be a blow, it doesn't have to cause damage. If I put my hand on your arm and you didn't want it there, that could be a battery, especially if I intended to cause some sort of discomfort for you by putting it there. Now I just committed a battery. So did we witness a battery? Absolutely, we witnessed a battery. So when can there be an outburst like that? And what type of defenses are available? When can you use physical resources? So number one, you can use it to defend yourself. So if you are in imminent threat of physical danger, if you feel like you're in an imminent threat of physical danger, you can use physical force to oppose that imminent threat. And then there's limits with regards to that. You can't go beyond the threat. So if somebody comes to hit you and you hit them, they go down on the ground, you can't start stomping on their head. You've now gone too far, okay? So, you know, that's the time that you can use this type of physical forces to defend yourself from physical force. Now, there are a couple of instances in which words can equal a physical response. They are very, very limited. They're called fighting words. It's actually a term of art done by the Supreme Court. And we know what they are because they're the words that we don't say. Even when we're in a setting where we can curse, we don't say them. It's the N word, it's the R word. They're words that the Supreme Court defines as can cause the blood to boil and then can cause a physical response, okay? That's not what we saw at the Oscars, all right? So the other fallacy that I think we gotta talk about is I hear a lot of people talking about, well, Chris Rock didn't press charges, okay? It is not up to Chris Rock as to whether or not charges are pressed. It is never up to the victim as to whether or not charges are pressed. It's up to the district attorney, state's attorney, U.S. attorney. It's up to the elected official or government-appointed official who is in charge of prosecuting on behalf of the state or on behalf of the federal government. When you commit a crime, the crime is against the laws of the county, city, state, or federal government. So it's actually the state versus the individual taking away your liberty, taking away your freedom, as opposed to a civil case, which is a person against a person. And a person can be a person as in human, or it can be a corporation or a partnership, same thing. So in that instance, even if Chris Rock says, I'm not interested in filing a complaint, that doesn't mean that the district attorney of Los Angeles County cannot file charges against Will Smith for battery. They absolutely can. We see that all the time back when I did criminal stuff with domestic violence situations where the victim says, I don't want charges pressed, but the state's attorney still presses charges because of the report done by the police or the report done by the victim at the time. Here, it's on film.
I was going to say, that's a whole different element there, right?
They don't need a report. It's on film. I'd be kind of surprised if something doesn't get filed as a result of the incident. And I mean, maybe it won't, and I'm sure there's people talking behind the scenes right now. But that's about as clear-cut as it gets. Those were not fighting words under the term of art. There's no way that anybody would decide that. I mean, Chris Rock was doing his job. You come out and you make jokes. If a joke is in bad taste, okay, well, maybe it was in bad taste, but I mean, do you see what Ricky Gervais does at the Golden Globes? I mean, are these guys gonna have to have bodyguards now? Is that how this is gonna work? No. So I'd be kind of surprised if something doesn't happen, but clearly it was a battery. Clearly it did not rise to the level, in my opinion, of fighting words. And you know, obviously we witnessed a crime. That was a crime.
So if Chris Rock did press charges, would that be two different things? Like he could press charges and the other people you talked about?
he could sue.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
two separate things.
Right, that would be a civil case. And that's not unusual that you have a criminal case and a civil case going on at the same time. But that's a misnomer about him pressing charges. I mean, now a district attorney, state's attorney, U.S. attorney can give that courtesy to the victim, and they can say, I'll leave it up to you as to whether or not I press charges. sorry to hit my microphone,
It's okay.
as to whether or not I press charges, but it is not up to the victim. I mean, there's very limited circumstances where that might be the case, but it is up to the district attorney, state's attorney, U.S. attorney as to whether or not charges are pressed. It's not up to Chris Rock. Now, he can say, I don't want to file a complaint. I don't want to sign out a complaint. Okay, he can say that, but the district attorney could still bring charges based upon what they saw. So let's say this happened behind closed doors,
Sure.
okay? Then you can go down and say, I want to file out a complaint, which means you're signing out an affidavit, you're testifying under oath on paper that these events happened. Then based upon that, the district attorney, U.S. attorney, state's attorney looks at it and goes, okay, based upon that, I'm going to file charges against this individual. Okay, that would be filing out a complaint or filing charges. But here, like I said, we got it on video.
We all saw it, and
Yeah.
we can all still see it because it's all over the internet.
It's
This
all-
is why Tim Mahoney knows so much. Well, I don't know why you know so much, but this is why we like to have you come on, because you're helping us understand. You can always get in contact with Tim at Mahoney'sGotYourBack.com. Thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
I feel like
as always.
I understand now, a little bit, mostly. Coming up next on GDS Baby Week continues with Taylor and 7-month-old Demi. We're talking baby trends. We'll be right back.